If you're watching this right now, I want you to do something simple for me. Stay with me for the next few minutes, because what I'm about to share might quietly change the way you look at growing old, and maybe even how long you live. And before you forget, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to this channel, because these kinds of conversations are not loud or flashy, but they matter more than most things we scroll past every day. I'm speaking to you not as a doctor, not as a scientist, but as someone who has lived long enough to watch people grow old in very different ways, and I've seen who lasts, who struggles, and who fades faster than expected. I am 82 years old as I tell you this, and I have buried friends who were stronger than me, richer than me, and even younger than me. For a long time, I used to think that living past 80 was just luck, or maybe good genes, something you are born with and cannot change. But over the years, and through quiet observation, conversations with doctors, and reading more than I ever did when I was younger, I began to notice patterns. Science has started to confirm many of these patterns, and they are surprisingly simple, almost ordinary things. I remember a man named Joseph who lived 2 houses away from me. He was already in his late 70s when I turned 60. He used to walk every morning, slowly but consistently, greeting everyone he passed. Nothing impressive, just a steady routine. Many of us thought he was just passing time. Joseph lived to 96. Not bedridden, not dependent, but alert, smiling, and present. That was when I began to pay attention. The first sign that quietly predicts how long you may live after 80 is how well you can move your body without assistance. It is not about lifting heavy weights or running fast. It is about simple movement. Can you stand up from a chair without using your hands? Can you walk across a room without feeling unstable? Science calls this functional mobility, but I simply call it independence. I have seen people who lost this early, and their world became smaller almost overnight. Movement keeps the body alive in ways we do not fully appreciate when we are younger. The second sign is your grip strength. It sounds almost too simple to matter, but studies have shown that how firmly you can hold something is closely linked to overall muscle health and even heart health. I remember my doctor asking me to squeeze his hand during a routine visit. At the time, I laughed, thinking it was unnecessary, but now I understand. Weakness in the hands often reflects weakness in the entire body. The third sign is your balance. I lost a friend named Martha because of a fall. Not a major accident, just a simple slip in her kitchen. At our age, balance is not just about standing upright, it is about survival. The body's ability to correct itself when it begins to fall is something we take for granted until it is gone. People who maintain good balance tend to live longer because they avoid the injuries that can start a downward spiral. The fourth sign is your memory, but not in the way you might think. It is not about remembering every name or date. It is about staying mentally engaged. Do you still follow conversations? Do you stay curious about the world? I have noticed that people who withdraw mentally, who stop learning or questioning, often decline faster. The mind, just like the body, needs use to stay alive. The fifth sign is your social connection. This one surprised me the most. Loneliness, real loneliness, is as dangerous as smoking or serious illness. I have felt it myself after my wife passed away. The house became quieter, and days felt longer. But the people who reached out, the conversations, even the small ones, kept something inside me from shutting down. Science now shows that people who stay connected to others tend to live longer, not just happier, but longer. The sixth sign is your walking speed. It sounds almost strange, but how fast or slow you walk can reveal a great deal about your overall health. Doctors sometimes call it a vital sign for older adults. I remember when I noticed my pace slowing down, not dramatically, just slightly. It made me more aware of my body, more careful, more intentional. A steady, confident walk often means the body is still functioning well as a whole. The seventh sign is how well you recover from small illnesses. When I was younger, a cold would pass in a few days and I would forget about it. Now, recovery takes longer, and I pay attention to that. People who bounce back from minor sicknesses tend to have stronger immune systems and better resilience. It is not about avoiding illness completely, it is about how the body responds when it comes. The eighth sign is your appetite and nutrition. I have seen many older people lose interest in food, not because they choose to, but because something inside them begins to slow down. Eating well is not just about pleasure, it is about giving the body the strength it needs to continue. When appetite disappears, it often signals deeper changes. The ninth sign is your sense of purpose. This is something I did not understand until later in life. After retirement, many people feel lost. The routine is gone, the responsibilities are gone, and slowly, the sense of meaning fades. I found mine in simple things, mentoring younger people, sharing stories, even sitting with neighbors and listening. People who wake up with a reason to face the day tend to live longer. It is not about grand achievements, it is about feeling that your presence still matters. The 10th sign, and perhaps the most quiet of all, is your attitude toward aging itself. I have met people who reached 70 and decided they were already finished. They spoke as if life had already ended, even though their bodies were still capable. And I have met others who reached 90 and still spoke about tomorrow, still made plans, still cared about small joys. The way you see your own aging shapes how you live through it. I did not always think this way. There was a time when I feared getting old. I thought it meant losing everything that made life worth living. But now, sitting here at 82, I see it differently. Aging is not a single event, it is a series of small changes, and within those changes, there are choices. Not perfect control, but choices. I still remember the day I struggled to get up from my chair without using my hands. It was a small moment, but it stayed with me. Instead of ignoring it, I began doing simple exercises every morning. Nothing dramatic, just enough to remind my body that it still needed to work. Over time, I noticed the difference. That is when I realized that these signs are not just predictions, they are also signals, warnings that give you a chance to respond. If you are younger than 80, these things matter even more, because you have more time to influence them. And if you are already past 80, like me, it is not too late. The body may slow down, but it does not stop listening. I am not telling you this to make you worry about every step you take or every ache you feel. That would not be living. I am telling you this so you can notice, so you can stay aware, and so you can take small actions that add up over time. I have learned that living long is not just about adding years, it is about how those years feel. I have seen people live to 90 but spend the last decade disconnected, dependent, and unhappy. And I have seen others live slightly shorter lives but remain active, engaged, and at peace until the end. As I sit here now, I do not know exactly how many years I have left. None of us do. But I do know this. The small things I pay attention to today, how I move, how I think, how I connect with others, they quietly shape the days ahead. So if you take anything from my voice today, let it be this. Do not wait for a big moment to start caring about your life. Pay attention to the quiet signs. They are always there, guiding you, warning you, and sometimes encouraging you. And as you go on with your day, I want you to ask yourself one simple question. Not how long will I live, But how am I living right now? Because in the end, that answer matters far more than any number. Take care of yourself, stay connected, and if this message meant something to you, stay with this channel. There are more stories to share, and sometimes a quiet voice is all we need to see things clearly again.